It can't be that bad, oh, 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 it can't be that bad.
Yeah, that's a nice part about my job. It's brought me to a lot of cities that I would have never gone to before.
Or have you been able to travel in the past?
I went to rural North Carolina where there wasn't a grocery store or Wi-Fi for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes away.
Whoa.
Like kids had to bus to school and they would leave at 6 a.m. and they'd get back at 8 p.m. because that's how far everything was.
Really?
Yeah, I went to like a former plantation there for just social justice convenient.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was intense.
That's intense, but at least you're going for such a great cause, and to be on historical soil, you know, to, I don't know, for your job. That's some meaningful shit.
It was intense, but it was super, like, I will never forget it, and it was valuable. I enjoyed it. It was a bit of a point of contention because they didn't tell people that it was going to be on a plantation.
No way.
So not everybody appreciated that. I thought I could take the history from it, but yeah, people weren't all emotionally prepared for that.
Yeah. Oh, so it was like when you were already on.
Yeah. They didn't really outline what the destination was. They kind of just sent us.
Dude, they just surprised you?
Low-key, yeah.
How did they just drop that on you?
Yeah, I was like, that was one of my first work trips. So I was like, oh, cool. North Carolina. And then I was like, oh, interesting. You know, would have never gone here before, but for other people they're like, I would have either said no or emotionally prepared myself more if I had known.
Yeah, North Carolina isn't typically on anyone's bucket list when they have the finances to be able to travel the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of like a left field type of thing.
Totally.
Where else have you traveled to?
In this job, like we went to Boston, and it's dope because I have a black led company. So Boston is super white, but we got to do a Black history tour, and we had a really cool tour guide and things like that. I went to Kansas City.
Damn, they're just bringing you to all these places.
Anywhere. Yeah, it's annoying because right before I came, they were going on ski trips. They were going to Atlanta. They were going to Miami. Right when I get there, we're going to go to Massachusetts.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. So
Yeah.
they're just like, hey, okay, we're going to go. Change your plans, guys.
Yeah.
We're going to go from like paradise
Yeah.
to all of these places where shit just happened.
Yeah. I always try to pitch, obviously, fun places. I'm like, what about a story in New York? They're like, I think we need to go to Rhode Island.
Oh, okay. Not what I was going for, but maybe Brooklyn or something like that.
Exactly. So it's been fun, though. I mean, I'll take it.
If not the Bay Area for where you want to settle down, where would it be?
You know, it's so funny. I've never traveled somewhere and been like, I would want to live here forever.
Mm-hmm.
So I really don't know. I like being places for periods of time and going to New York. I could never do a summer or winter in New York. It's too intense.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. A summer in New York is just way too hot and sweaty, and a winter is just too cold.
Yeah, I would do a winter before a summer, but I'm just too irritable and I think a tad too high maintenance to really enjoy New York.
Really?
I don't want to walk 6 miles every day.
Dude, I mean, I get why people love New York. First of all, it's too fast paced.
Yeah, it's intense.
Like, I've grown up in the Bay Area for too long for me to move that fast.
Yeah.
And the fact that people don't listen, the street lights are just suggestions there.
Of course.
The walk sign is a suggestion, right? You go do what you want. BART versus Subway.
Okay. I hate to say this. I don't take the BART.
Ooh.
Ever.
You know what? I can respect that.
Yeah.
Because you never know what could happen.
Yeah, I have been in too many situations where I just feel like I don't want, if I can avoid it, I'm not going to put myself into anything that could potentially happen. I will go on BART in big groups. I will not go on a BART. I've never been on the BART by myself.
I think we've seen enough movies
Yeah.
where that's probably a wise decision.
I'll take the subway for sure. I think that's the difference between the Bay and New York is I hate that the fact that the Bay Area gets this reputation for crime when every single city has crime. But I think the difference is New York, there's so many people around you. Like if you're walking down the street late at night, there's other people there. In the Bay or even in Portland, you're walking on the street by yourself.
Yeah. Well, that's because shit here closes early now.
Yeah.
Right? Come 10 p.m. or 11 p.m., things in the city start to close.
Yeah.
And so there's less witnesses around.
No witness.
There's no witnesses around. Anything could happen. But in New York, things are open like all day. You could get a sandwich at 4 a.m. from a very good bodega, you know?
I love that pace. I went to the Trader Joe's in New York.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like crossing guards, you know, normally they feel pretty pointless. Like I know how to get across the street. In Trader Joe's, there was a crossing guard, most critical position in the store.
Wait, a crossing guard inside of the store?
Yes.
For walkers?
Yes.
For people just walking in the store. So what was he?
He was literally screaming at people to move and to keep going and to stay in a lane and to keep it pushing because that's how many fucking people were there.
Yo, that's nuts.
Yes.
Dude, I didn't realize that there was a position at Trader Joe's for you to just be the crossing guard.
Not only that, there's also a position for the end of the line.
What?
Yes. And keep in mind, this was probably half the size of a regular Trader Joe's, and there was probably twice as many checkout stands, and they're all just maybe a foot long.
Oh my goodness.
It was insane.
That I didn't even realize that existed. What a life you've lived. Kayla, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
What an introduction.
Literally.
You are doing some great things right now.
Thank you.
And we as the Bay Area community are very proud of what you've done.
Wow.
Because it is meaningful stuff. And you've talked about before, congrats on your recent appearance on Live in the Bay.
Thank you.
We share that in common, and what a fun experience.
Right.
And you got to talk your shit. And what's really cool is that you are bringing this old media back, the media of print, writing something down, something that you have to pick up and read, a physical, tangible thing. And it's so cool because now you're on issue 5
of
GC Magazine. How's it feel?
Honestly, it feels like this is the first issue in a lot of ways because it was so much just figuring out how to get it done. And this is the first issue where I've had the time to really pull out the content, do the PR run and everything else. Every other issue, it's like, oh, it's here. We need to get it out. Okay. Mm-hmm. There's no kind of lead up or plan or content strategy. So it's been exciting actually seeing it come into fruition of what I've had in my head for so long, but haven't been able to accomplish thus far. So it really feels like the first in a lot of ways.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you had to go through the first 4 to do this one the way that you're doing it.
Yeah. I always tell people if I waited until I liked it or it was perfect, I would never get it done. This is like, normally when I look back at my writing, I kind of cringe at it. I'm like, I don't want to read that. This is the first issue where I really enjoy most of everything that I've written.
And what's the difference between the way you've written in the past and the way you're writing for this one?
I think it's just, getting the reps in, and it's just weird. It's just sometimes it hits and sometimes it doesn't when you're writing, but I just have to remind myself, even if I don't like this, what I'm putting in this is still important information that I'm not seeing other places. So it doesn't have to do with whether or not I like this. This story needs to be told. So I just tell myself, like, regardless if I'm obsessed with this story or not, I need to put it out there because I feel like it's part of history, and I always know I'm my harshest critic, and other people like the writing. So sometimes you just go through phases, but recently I've just been kind of on a stride when it comes to writing, and it feels like it's all clicking. So I can't say that there's something completely different I'm doing. It's just, I think also reading a lot more has made the difference.
Nice.
Yeah. They would always tell me that, and I kind of rejected it, and now I get it.
And now you're reading a bunch?
Yeah.
What are you reading?
Well, I love just shitty thrillers,
Me too. So is it an example of a shitty thriller, like the Housemaid series?
So, yes, like just a page turner. There's not any, I try to, supplement with actual good information in between just reading page turners. But it's not like I'm learning anything about the world from these books, but they're just super interesting and fun to read through fast. So yeah, I love a thriller. I read a lot of music history as well. I love historical fiction. I think it's such a great way to kind of pair something. If you can take history and make it interesting, I read The Nightingale, which was recommended to me, and it's about France during World War II. And so I learned so much about World War II through that book, even though it was fiction. So I love that as well.
Yeah, because they're taking aspects of what actually happened during that time and then creating their own story.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're making history interesting, you know, because I have some friends that will just watch all of World War II in color on Netflix.
Yes.
All 20 hours of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Because like, as much as I would like to think of myself as an old soul, because I've grown up in this day and age, I still have like a squirrel brain where I need to feed my brain dopamine pretty quickly.
Right.
But sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I'm always impressed by people that watch YouTube essays that are 6 hours long.
I don't know how people do it. Yeah, a deep dive into like this part of history. Because now we live in a time period where anyone is just going to get the 17-part TikTok series.
For sure.
To
That's
watch
me.
a movie. Is that you? You're watching the 17-part TikTok series of any movie?
I mean, I'll watch in-depth TikToks. Maybe not a movie, but yeah, I'm a victim of TikTok for sure.
I mean, I think we all are. My algorithm's a little too good. It knows me too well. But I do miss the old days. Were you like were you on Tumblr? Were you like blogging a lot?
I was definitely on Tumblr coding the fuck out of my website.
Oh, dude, that's what MySpace and Tumblr did. It turned us as kids, as prepubescent kids, into like mini coders.
Yeah.
If you wanted to change your background. So was that like those days? Did that kind of play a part in your journey into being the writer and journalist you are now?
Yeah, I would say writing has always been something that I've done throughout my whole life. It was the only thing I was ever good at in high school. And then coming into college, it was the only thing I was sure of is, writing. That's the only thing I can do. I would say one thing that I've realized is my friends will say, I want to get into journaling, but I just don't know what to write or I just don't know what to say. And it's so crazy for me to think that because people think to start writing, they have to form some idea in their head. And for me, there's just constant running thoughts through my head and I can't help but write it down. So it's just interesting how it's not as instinctive for everybody, but it's always been very instinctive to me. And both my grandparents were also writers.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was genetic.
Well, my mom was adopted,
Okay.
so not genetic. My mom, she like grew up with she always struggled in school growing up. So my mom has never liked school ever. And my dad, he's both of my parents are smart, but not in like traditional education way. And then my dad probably writes at like below a kindergarten reading level.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Do you think it's because writing is a dying art?
No, I just think he didn't get a good education growing up.
I see.
I mean, I went to a really amazing on paper high school academically, so I can definitely contribute that to, my writing school skills. But yeah, I think when it came to my parents, my mom had a lot of learning disabilities and my dad just didn't get a good education.
I see.
Yeah.
I think it's cool when someone can take something, because I think it's a dying art form, especially in the rise of AI.
Yeah.
Where we're hearing stories about all these kids just using ChatGPT to write their essays.
Totally.
And this is something that our ancestors would be pissed off about. And especially me as a 32-year-old, I had to learn the old school way where I'm just like, what's a thesis?
Right.
What do you mean an opening line of, I remember there's like a sandwich technique.
Of course.
Of how you would write an essay, like a strong opener, then the meat and potatoes, and then a good closer to wrap the whole thing up.
Yeah.
These kids are probably not learning like that anymore.
No.
So that sucks.
Yeah, I'm really grateful that I got through my master's without AI. Because now I definitely think I can leverage it, but I wouldn't have wanted that to be part of my formal curriculum growing up. And also, I just think, I don't know, it's hard, this generation of kids going through COVID, losing such critical points of their education. So, they're going to figure out something different that works for them, but it's not going to look the same as it did for us.
No, that really stunted everyone's growth, huh? That was like, that sounded crazy.
Some more than others, for sure.
Oh my gosh, there's some kids out there that just don't know how. My niece and nephew, just Roblox iPad kids.
Yeah.
I'm talking to them and I'm just like, hey, how's your day? And they just stare at me. Like they just look at me like I'm an alien, and then they look back at their Roblox, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
That's truly like a product of the pandemic. But dude, congrats on everything that you've done. Journalism is important. Documentation of history and immortalizing it is very important. And I know that's one of the reasons as to why you got started with this. Talk more on that. What does it feel like that you are capturing these stories that otherwise not many other people would be able to capture in the way that you're doing it, especially?
Yeah, I think that, I mean, it feels good. It keeps you going when other things get tough, obviously. One thing that I notice with arts and culture reporting, especially on communities of color, is the writing is just so, there's no depth to it. There's no nuance or sensitivity or attention to culture. I remember reading about Kendrick Lamar's Pop-Out show, and there was a New York Times article. I can tell by the first line of an article who wrote it.
Whoa.
And a majority of the people that are writing about hip-hop and arts and culture are old white men. And I can just always tell. There's, again, that nuance. And that's why when people say, when I tell people I'm a writer and they talk about AI, and I'm like, humans can't even get it right that are trying to emulate our culture. I'm not worried about AI getting it right. I would welcome AI to try to get it right, you know? So I think it's important just to be a Black woman, to write about our culture, and to have that level of sensitivity that we always deserve. Like, I know how important words are. Words shape our legislature. They shape the way that we're treated in health. They shape the way that we're treated in the legal system. And I wish people paid more attention to the way that they use their words. But I feel like I've studied it for so long that I actually am the right person to do the job because I give a fuck. And I think some people are kind of missing the mark on that sometimes.
Yeah. And you're doing exactly that. I mean, 5 issues. What does it feel like to, when you hold an issue right after it's like the first print ever?
Yeah.
And you flip through that and you feel how crispy it is, and you're looking at your writing paired with these beautiful photos. What does that feel like to you?
Yeah. First of all, shout out Jason for the amazing photos, obviously. I mean, I just had that moment. First thought is fear of like, oh God, is there something that didn't come out right, you know? But the second thought is it's so surreal to think that the idea in my head that's why print is so insane to me, because it doesn't hit the same seeing it online. And just the feeling of knowing that all these thoughts that come together to make this, it's so weird because I'm like, oh, I just think of this thing and then I talk to people like you do, and then I take all my thoughts and I put them into words and then I edit the fuck out of it and I go into, it's so many steps, you know? Yeah. And so to see in the final product, I'm just like, that's all me.
That is all you. It's so cool, dude.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's like, the fact that you could just buy it online and you see people holding something that you've created. Once again, that's something that I talk about all the time that's just so mind-blowing, is the fact that we have the ability to take something that is not tangible, our thoughts, and then we just throw that on a piece of paper or an audio medium, and we take whatever information that is and we throw it into this polished, clean product. Yeah. And then like, here you go. Immortalized forever is so cool.
It is crazy. The best part is seeing other people's reactions to seeing in it. And even as a journalist, I would write about difficult topics, whether it was recidivism or mental health or gun violence. And I would always hear people say how much they really appreciated how I captured them in it. Because again, I have the emotional intelligence to take the nuance in a situation, and I never try in philanthropy talk, we call it asset-based framing. So instead of saying, oh, all these terrible things are the reason why this person is the way they are, we try to frame it as, yeah, this person may have these experiences and we're not trying to glaze over them, but this has allowed them to flourish in X, Y, and Z. And so I've had people say, you know, I've only seen really negative coverage on this, and I appreciate that you were still covering this in a way that didn't minimize the seriousness of it, but you also really captured my humanity in this, or my experience in this, in a way that didn't make me feel ashamed. So I stopped doing such intense reporting for the most part, because it's a lot, but I still get to bring in these greater social issues through arts and culture. And so just seeing other people be excited to see themselves is definitely the best part.
Was it taking in a lot of emotional tax on you to do that intense reporting?
Yeah, it was really emotionally taxing, and I think I would have been in a better place, but before I got to grad school, I was working at a homeless shelter for 3 years through the pandemic, and so that experience shaped me forever, and I had a ton of really amazing memories that weren't heavy at that job. But by the end of it, going through COVID, you know, at a time where we were obviously at max capacity in every sense of the word, and I was working overnights, and I had another job. I was working 60-hour weeks to save up for grad school.
Wow.
And all of my focus was just getting to grad school. And then when I got to grad school, I realized now I have to do school for 2 years. And I didn't think about that, you know?
Damn.
So I came into grad school so burnt out. And then I had housing issues, and it was just one thing after another. So at the end of that experience of just being so emotionally exhausted, I remember seeing all my classmates getting amazing internships and getting all these jobs. And I was just thinking, I need to finish. I need to take a break. And I want to write on things that make me happy. I always say, like, food, arts, culture, all the fun stuff. You know, I have so much respect for my journalist friends that are doing the intense reporting. It wasn't sustainable for me.
Yeah. But you can say that you've done it and you've tried it, and that you can do it effectively.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean that you have to and that you should, because at the end of the day, we are all still vulnerable humans.
Yeah.
With feelings, you know? And I feel like you've found your lane in documenting and immortalizing very positive things, which is what GC Magazine is about.
Yeah, definitely. Even, like, I wrote a story about Kenzo's benefit concert that turned into a benefit concert for the families that were impacted by the mass shooting.
Yeah.
And I remember I called him because I was already talking to him about doing the story. And I was like, hey, how are you? Da-da. And he was just, you know, really solemn. And I was kind of like, oh, what's going on? And he's like, oh, you know, the mass shooting. And just the way the news moved so quickly, I didn't even stop to think about how that would impact him. And I was a moment of reflection of like, whoa, I'm moving really quickly right now. I need to slow down. And so the story shifted in tone, obviously, but Kenzo and I had a conversation, and he said, you know, everything written about Stockton is super negative. Yeah. And it reinforces this idea to the community there that is them, you know, the totality of them, when really there's so many beautiful stories that Kenzo told me about his childhood and growing up in Stockton and the places that he loved, from the skating rink to the pizza shop. And Kenzo's obviously a beautiful steward of that city and has done so many amazing things being from there. So that goes back to, I was still able to talk about gun violence and what that means to that community, but also putting a perspective of saying, you know, there are people from these communities that can show us how much beauty that this community has and how much strength this community has, and focusing on that moment, on those people and those moments, can probably get us closer to where we all want to head in terms of safety than constantly pulling out, you know, diss tracks or violence all the time. And so that's a perfect example of, I'm not going to ignore those things, but I think it's important to find a way to highlight how we heal and continue to pay attention to those issues at the end of the day at the same time. Yeah. You know,
two things can both be true. You know, a place could have crime and bad things happen to it, but that doesn't negate the fact that there are beautiful things with beautiful people that exist in that place. Vallejo is a prime example. Whenever I tell people that aren't really familiar with Vallejo, they just think like, oh dang, my car's gonna get bipped, my catalytic converter is gonna get stolen, I'm gonna get shot in downtown. Those things happen, but it doesn't only happen in Vallejo. But like to define a city and to define its people by the happenings that have occurred there every now and then, or from stories that you've heard, that completely negates the community, the events being thrown here, the backyard shows, the charities that get thrown here, the beautiful markets that happen in downtown, the music culture, the scene, the people that you just see in the store. You kill those stories if you just define it like that. But that's because there's a lot of people that just don't want to think further ahead. You know, it's they're so quick to think that, well, Vallejo ain't Orinda or some shit like that, you know? And so your work is beautiful and there's nuance to everything. I got to talk to Kenzo when he did my podcast a few weeks ago about the same exact thing. Right after the shootings, and he told me that like, it sucks that that's what people are thinking the city is about. So shout out to you for like capturing those stories, because otherwise there might be someone in the world that would never run into that story and their thought process would be the same. Yeah, exactly. That's why it's so important. And yeah, I feel like Vallejo's on a big rebrand. Yes. You know, there's so many, like, Vallejo's up. Vallejo's for sure up. Vallejo is for sure up. And I'm happy to be a part of the culture during its, like, renaissance, you know? Yeah, for sure. I feel like people like yourself, that's what I love about this moment that feels so special. And I've talked to OGs from the Bay to kind of check myself, and I'm like, is this moment insanely special, or is it just because this is the moment that I'm in, you know? And like, no, it's so special. But I just feel like there's so many people in so many different lanes all pushing towards the same thing in the Bay right now. Obviously, like yourself and so many amazing musicians and people that you interview, and it's exciting to see the Bay Area really rise to the occasion. And I always compare it to the Olympics, the Summer Olympics when we were in France, and it was the last game, and obviously the U.S. is always expected to win, but France was low-key kicking our ass, and Steph Curry just came in the fourth quarter and, you know, made it happen. And everyone on Twitter was saying how they were so excited to finally be able to cheer for Steph. And I was like, that's the moment I want for the Bay. Like, everyone put down their ego and just admit how amazing we are. I mean, it's happening already with Oakland, specifically with Alyssa Liu. Yes. With Ryan Coogler. With what else am I missing? There's other things happening. I can't think of it either, but there's so many amazing. Yes, Oakland's having its moment. Yes. And it's so cool that I'm just adjacent to that story. Kaylani, Grannies. That's what it was. Because I saw like someone posted a photo and there was like 3. I was like, there's one more. Okay, thank you that would have destroyed me if I didn't catch that before the end of the episode. But yeah, prime example of how like the Bay is up right now. I used to think that. So I grew up in Pittsburgh, and I grew up listening to like 106.1, 102.5. I listened to a lot of hi-fi music and a lot of like Bay Area music. And I used to think that what was playing on the radio was playing everywhere. I was like, this shit's too dope. Like, this is worldwide, right? And then it wasn't until later on that I found out how special it was to be living in the Bay Area, to be from the Bay Area, when I start to meet people not from here and they didn't know that stuff. Yeah. And then once I left, they also didn't know that stuff, and I was just like, it's so cool. Yeah, we have such a regional culture, and that's been kind of the biggest blessing in the curse for the Bay. Again, I hate when people always use sports references, but the Warriors, everybody hated the Warriors when we were up. Come on, Warriors, pick it up. But all you needed was the Bay to love you, and that was enough to win however many championships. But it's also been our Achilles heel where the people that you love so much, nobody knows about, especially when you leave the West Coast. Really nobody knows about. But that's what's different is
we're breaking all those regional barriers.
Yeah.
But I also think it's funny because during Super Bowl weekend, I think now because we do have so many big people coming from the Bay is becoming a little bit Hollywood, and we're kind of becoming the antithesis of what we want it to be.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just kind of the byproduct of a lot of movers and shakers making it.
Yeah, I think it's inevitable to kind of, I mean, regardless of who you are, yeah, there's going to be people that won't ever let fame touch their ego like that. But inevitably, we are humans.
Of course.
There are weak moments. And I've heard stories of people that have gone Hollywood.
Of course.
You know, I'm just like, but why? Why are you doing that? That is truly the antithesis of like Bay Area culture.
Yeah.
Dude, like you're very articulate, which I didn't, obviously it's obvious.
Yeah.
If you could write like that, you could speak like that. I'm curious how you text though. Do you text the way that you write?
I'm a formal texter.
Yes,
for sure. I use punctuation. It's funny. My friend Lo, she'll be like, oh, I need you to type for me. And she's like, I would never say this shit. And she like takes out half the letters and all the punctuation. So yeah, I'm a very formal texter for sure.
I love that because I'm the same. I was getting made fun of not too long ago by some of my peers because I have my caps on. You know how?
Yeah. Oh, like people that just do lowercase?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah, which is crazy because you have to go into your settings.
Yeah, to get that.
Which I think is like, you're putting in too much work.
A little extra.
Yeah. Take that time that you use to go into your settings, turn that shit off. Use a comma every now and then.
You're not bell hooks. You don't need to be in all lowercase.
Dude, spell there the correct way. Okay. Yeah, and people are still texting UR as in instead of the YOUR or YOU apostrophe RE. So I was just curious about that.
Yeah, I'm definitely. And one thing I will say that's kind of interesting, I'm all about breaking down respectability politics. I think people need to understand the line between being authentic and being professional. Mm-hmm. Like, I think it's really important to be authentic, but sometimes people approach me in ways that are so unprofessional. And I'm just like, if you want to do business with me, that is out.
Yeah.
Because there needs to be a level of professionalism. If we're just friends, sure, but if we're going to work together, there has to be a level of professionalism. And I understand that everybody should be able to show up as themselves, but I think that line is kind of getting blurred in our generation. Customer service at an all-time low, you know?
Dude, all-time low.
All-time low. I understand people aren't getting paid well, but again, I worked at a job where people would cuss me out, call me crazy names, and I still had a smile on my face.
Where did you work?
At the homeless shelter.
Oh, that place. Yeah, okay.
And sometimes, like, I would have to, I understood from that job when people say, I'm just here to enforce the rules. Uh-huh. I don't want to get you in trouble. I have to enforce the rules. And that has been a lesson in myself. Sometimes I want to pop off on people and I'm like, you know what? You were just here to enforce the rules. You didn't make the rules.
Yeah.
But you're irritating me. But yeah, like I would get cussed out or called a snitch and things like that.
No way.
Yeah.
Ain't no way faster to piss off someone than to be called a snitch.
Yeah.
You know?
I wasn't tripping off it because at the end of the day, I always had the awareness of, so I worked in a transitional housing facility. So if you were leaving foster care, you don't have a credit score and a cosigner to go get an apartment. Mm-hmm. Or if you were running away from a bad family situation, there's all these different scenarios that would get you here. And you could live there for a certain period of time. And then ideally you would transfer to getting your own place. All that to say is I was in people's homes. Like this is where people ate their meals, spent their holidays, brought their children home from the first day from the hospital, which was my favorite part because I love babies.
Wow.
Yeah. But I always had the awareness of when people would cuss me out or whatever. First of all, they're going through a lot. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the times people have come from situations where they couldn't be held with grace. They couldn't cuss someone out without the other person cussing them out. Mm-hmm. So being that person to give them grace and say, okay, I see how you're feeling. Yeah. I don't want to make you feel this way. How can we, you know, problem solve or come to a better situation? But that's all to say, I've been cussed out, called crazy names, you know, had crazy shit happen at my job, and I was still nice to people. So when the fucking barista or the fucking bartender wants to give me shit for asking for a napkin, I'm like, what is going so wrong in your life where you have to be such an asshole?
Yeah, it's not my fault that those tiny little black napkins at the end of the bar are on your side of the bar.
Literally. So I'm like, come on, guys. Like, I'm not asking for you to perform for me, but just a little.
Yeah, just like a little bit of grace. Yeah. That's all we need. And to like comment on people trying to hit you up. Yeah, showing up as your authentic self is truly what we need in this world. Yeah. But that doesn't, that shouldn't erase the fact that like you have to try. You have to try.
Thank you.
Best foot forward. If you're going to send a DM, make sure that DM is like nice and professional.
Yeah.
I do got some people hitting me up being like, that I never heard of before, being like, yo, I gotta be on the pod. And I'm like, I don't know you.
No, you get it. And also, you know, you have your 9 to 5 or your 2 p.m. to 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And I think that being in a traditional workforce, that is one of the benefits of it. Is I've worked with contracts, I've worked with executives and things like that. I don't want to be that performative all the time, but you have to be able to pivot in the spaces that you are. But I always start more professional, and then come down. Ooh. Don't start at the ground.
Yeah. Oh my God. Some people working their way up to professionalism is crazy.
Exactly.
No, best foot forward, and then we'll chill out a little bit, right?
For sure.
Yes, it's like that's how it is. Like when you meet anyone, like if you're meeting a spouse's parents for the first time, shake that hand nice. Don't dap up Mr. Robinson.
No, exactly.
Make sure that's a good hand.
Don't start with cussing. You know?
Yeah. Yo, nice fucking house, Mr. Robinson. Don't do this. Do not hit me with a DM where it sounds like you're doing this as you were typing it up, you know?
For real. Yeah, it's a lost art. Manners are kind of faltering. Like my best friend Stacy, she has a teenage sister, and they're all nice, but they just don't have great manners. Like her friend will walk into the house and just not acknowledge anybody.
Whoa.
I think that's not great manners.
No, that's not.
I'm not saying respect your elders, because some elders don't deserve to be respected. I'm sorry.
I get that. I understand that.
But again, start by respecting them. And if they talk to you crazy, you know, leave them alone. But at the end of the day, I think that's something when I think about raising my own children. No, you need to introduce yourself when you walk into a room, any room.
Yeah. In Filipino culture, if you are bringing... So I grew up with a lot of female cousins, and when they bring a new boyfriend to a family party, scrutiny is all on them, right?
Yes, of course.
If you miss one aunt when you're saying hi and you go to that food table, once you leave, fuck it. Even while you're at the party, guess who's talking shit about
you? As it should be.
Yeah. They're just like, Jimmy didn't say hi. Jimmy didn't say hi to Tita Lenny. And then it's just like, oh yeah, Jimmy's not coming back. So I've learned to go to any household and like say hi. Like if you were to invite me to a family party or to like to meet all of your friends for whatever reason, I'm shaking everyone's hand. I'm trying my best to remember everyone's name before I go to the drinks or before I go to the food table, you know?
Yeah. It's so important. And I think that's what's so beautiful about culture is having that accountability for one another of how you should treat each other. One of my biggest pet peeves, especially working in music, is when there's a man, rapper, artist, and they introduce themselves to everyone, but not the women.
No, is that a thing that still exists?
It's a thing.
What?
And I think it's even crazier is one time in the backyard, there was a baby. He was maybe 1 year old. The baby got an introduction.
What?
Dapped up the baby.
Hell no. The baby don't even got enough cartilage to dap.
The baby came out of the woman that you just ignored.
Hell no. She was holding the baby. She was holding the baby.
The baby was walking around.
Baby, one? Impressive baby.
Maybe 1.5.
Maybe the baby did deserve that dap.
Right. The baby deserved the dap. So did the mom.
But the mom for sure.
Yeah.
Mom for sure. I can't believe that that's still going on
That's
in
a
the
thing.
2020s.
Yeah.
You know?
And they blame it on I don't know whose girl that is. I've been in line next to a random man that I've never met before. And a man will be like, "Oh, is that your girl?" I'm like, it's weird that you're asking a random man that I've never met those things. But again, men will say, "Oh, I don't want to start problems with another man." You should be able to introduce yourself respectfully and it not be an issue. And I think that it's just a basic level of respect that everyone deserves to be acknowledged in a room. And I think it's really corny if you don't do that.
Oh,
So,
definitely very
props
corny.
to the Filipino culture because they got it right.
Oh, we're saying hi to everybody.
Yeah.
And if you're the type of guy that gets upset that another guy is just introducing himself and also to you,
Right.
then you have some insecurity issues.
Go
if
to
that's
therapy.
pissing you. Go to therapy, please. I mean, I used to think that I was the happiest person in the world. Went to therapy. There's so much more I got to work on. Yeah.
Of course.
Let's see. What's your favorite part about all this? Do you have any tentpole moments that you carry with you that motivate you to keep on going with this journey?
Yeah, I think the second issue with Major on the cover.
Yeah.
That video makes me cry almost every time that I see it. So, yeah, I always say that I want to create the content I wish I had seen growing up Black, around a bunch of white people, and looking for my identity in media in Tumblr era and just seeing terrible examples to pull from, and then growing up with a white mom, literally having no Black people to understand my own identity through, and then looking for it and finding all the wrong things. And then when you look at young boys of color and how they're treated in the media and how disheartening a lot of the coverage is, and just thinking, I want young kids to see themselves and to know that they're loved and celebrated, even if they just have this pure moment now, because there's going to be a time where if you're a young Black child, all the negativity will seep in at some point. You are going to have a more realistic perspective of, oh, this is how I'm being treated in a larger system that was never set up to benefit me. So creating the moments for the young people is the best part, of course. And then even my friend, she teaches at San Francisco State, and she uses my magazines for her cultural justice section. And so, yeah, I guess it all comes back to I love young people getting excited about arts and social justice. I just went and spoke at my undergrad, and I got probably 75 LinkedIn requests, and so many young people. Again, I was like looking out into the crowd. I was like, I better not see anybody sleeping today. So just igniting that in other people. And I've had young people come up to me and be really excited about writing again. And so I hope I can make writing cool and reading cool for this generation and show the value in it all. And that's definitely the absolute best part of it.
And I think you are making writing cool again.
I hope so.
Because I think if you were to talk to a kid and tell them to close their eyes and like tell them to imagine a writer, they'd probably be thinking of someone wearing a cardigan with glasses that hides out in a cabin for months on. Is that you?
Glasses, cardigan, cabin. My version of a cabin is staying with my mom in Portland because it's just rainy and there's nothing to do. But
nice cup of coffee.
Yes.
Getting inspired to write.
Of course.
Okay, because what I'm seeing on social media is this cool girl that's probably going to order a $25 cocktail.
For sure.
Especially if you're hanging out with Sydney. We're spending $75 on 2 drinks.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm a boujie food person for sure.
Oh, I've seen the pictures.
I've always been that way though.
But you know, if I'm paying to put this food inside of my body, I'm gonna pay some nice. You know, it's like putting the premium gas in your car.
Thank you.
I want the premium gas.
I would say like I cook a lot. I would rather eat a quesadilla at home than pay for a meal that I don't like. I'm not gonna do it.
Because at least you know what kind of quesadilla you like and you have full control.
And a quesadilla will always hit.
Yeah, you're right. There ain't nothing wrong with it.
You can't go wrong.
Is that your go-to food?
My go-to food is probably baked chicken.
Interesting. Okay, how do you like, what do you add to it? Can't just be straight up.
No, I would say my signature is a whole baked chicken with vegetables and potatoes in the pan with it.
Yeah.
That's a classic. You know, just season it up. One thing that my mom does that is kind of a tip and trick is she uses salad dressing, like an Italian salad dressing, to baste the chicken. Really fire.
Wow. You give me like maternal vibes too. Like you're ready to cook for the family.
Of course.
You are ready to take care of people
all the time.
Where do you think that comes from?
Well, my mom's a preschool teacher, and so growing up, I was like, there's photos of me. I was the 2-year-old that wanted to hold the newborn.
Oh my gosh.
You know, babies that want to hold babies.
Yeah.
That was always me. And then I always was a babysitter and a tutor. So I always just loved children. Mm-hmm. And my mom was adopted, and my grandma always wanted a girly girl, and my mom was a tomboy. So when my mom had me, my grandma put all that energy of wanting my mom to be a girly girl into me. So it was very cooking, baking, getting our nails done, wearing tights every day, and dresses and things like that. So that's kind of where my love for cooking came. But again, going back to my job at the homeless shelter, one of the best parts, we had an industrial kitchen, and so I would just cook for everybody.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was so fun. And we had just massive quantities of things. Mm-hmm. And during the pandemic, I was cooking so many sweets, pies, like 4 pies a day. And at one point, someone was like, Kayla, nobody wants your pies. You want pies, and you keep making it, acting like you're making it for everybody else, but really you just want to eat 4 different types of pies. And I was like, that's true, but the pies always get 8. You know, at one point or another.
Good point. What pies were we making?
See, that was the fun part, because we had such big quantities that you could make 4 pies, or you could go through 5, things of cinnamon rolls. So pecans, sweet potato, everything. We got a fryer at one point, and we had, again, a walk-in freezer. When I tell you, everything was fried for maybe 6 weeks in that place because it could be. Then people burnt out on it, obviously.
Wow, hearing that just makes me breathe out my mouth.
No, literally.
I can see how passionate you are when it comes to food. You have a whole other account that you haven't posted on in a minute.
I know. I have so many things.
You got Kayla wrote that, and you got Kayla ate that.
Yeah.
Where's Kayla eating? We've been waiting.
I have so many photos that I haven't posted because I've just been doing so much content. But honestly, now that you said that, my hour-long ferry ride back to the other side of the bay, I'm gonna have to update it.
Yeah, you definitely should.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you like babies too. Of course. Do you want to be a mom?
I cannot wait to have children. I love kids. Kids, period. There's no better feeling in the world than being around children, in my opinion. I will say that growing up as an only child, if you grew up with siblings and you had to take care of your 50,000 siblings, I understand why kids aren't that fun to you. You know, you didn't get the choice.
Yeah.
So I have like friends who have 1,000 siblings, and they're like, I like some kids, but just random kids. But no, my dream is those videos of people on an airplane, and they're like, I was so tired, and I was stayed up all night as a mom with my 3 kids and this lovely couple next to me, just I'm waiting for the tired mom at the airport.
Wow.
Like, please, somebody, anybody, give me your child.
Dude, I have cousins that are those tired moms at the airport, or just like, because they, once again, Filipinos just get to work fast.
Yeah.
They just like once they can, they are, and like we're Catholic, so like they just want to reproduce.
Yeah.
And so a lot of my cousins got like 5 kids, like while they're still in their 20s type of thing. And like you see in their face how tired they are, but you also see that they wouldn't trade it for a damn thing in the world. Of course. I myself, I love kids. Yes. I love seeing a baby. I love seeing kids. Kids don't like me.
Why?
I don't know. They look at me and then they cry and then they run away. I hold my best friend's baby for 10 seconds and he like wakes up and then he turns his head and he notices it's not his dad, cries. So like, I don't know. Like I want a daughter so bad.
Of course. You'd be a great girl dad.
What are the tells?
I just think you are clearly hardworking.
Oh, thank you.
You seem very empathetic. You're very intentional. You seem like you have a lot of love to give. And I think also you have that kind of emotional intelligence that makes a good girl dad. The people who are like, I want a boy, I feel like it's because they lack that emotional intelligence. They don't want to develop it because they can't ignore it anymore when they have a kid that's a girl.
Wow. Thank you for like the kind words. I didn't realize it was going to be a deep dive like that, but I will take all of it.
Yeah, of course.
What do you want?
So my mom was adopted. I was around a lot of people that were in the foster care system. Also saw a lot of people where I feel like if they had one adult that really loved them properly, their life would have been completely different. So I want to adopt kids at different ages, not just newborns. I want to have as many kids as I can afford.
Oh, you're gonna be like Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt.
Yeah, minus the Brad Pitt.
Minus the Brad Pitt. Minus the Brad Pitt.
Yeah, I love the idea of having a big family. I love the idea of adopting teenagers or being a foster care parent. I will say my age of wanting children pushes further every year into my adulthood. I definitely want to put my career first, and I don't want to be the mom that's constantly splitting myself. I think I will be that mom. So I'm kind of looking, if you know anyone, for a more stay-at-home dad era, and I always saw myself more as probably the breadwinner.
Well, I mean, we are kind of entering that day and age because I keep telling myself, I'm just like, if I find me a woman that's like,
she's ready.
Or that's like, you know what? I'm down to go home. I'm down to stay home. I'm down to take care of the kids. I'm down to take care of the yard, this and that. I've learned to love taking care of my home.
Oh, yeah.
It's
big.
I like to clean bathrooms. It's because I know that a lot of people don't like to clean bathrooms. So if I could find me like a sugar mama that is down to be the breadwinner,
literally,
and then I just stay here in my tiny little maid outfit and my French maid outfit, just waiting for her to come. I'm completely fine with it.
Iconic.
But yeah, I mean, who knows? Yeah, that in the future, you'll find yourself someone that is down to stay home, and then you're just gonna have a good gaggle of children, and you're gonna be, because you're already building so much for yourself, Kayla.
I'm excited to have kids, of course. I want my house to be a place where my kids can just create anything.
Yeah.
Like they can have a podcast. Like the only type of technology there will be is to create something. Like you can get on the computer and you can get on what's the Adobe audio program that they have? I don't remember what the name of it.
Premiere. No, Premiere's like the
video
software.
editing. Whatever the Adobe audio thing is. Audition, I think it's called.
It is Audition, yes.
Get on Audition. You're not getting on Roblox.
Yeah. Only buy them software where they could create something from scratch.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously textile and physical things as well, but I think I'm also excited because I have such an amazing community around me. I have no musical talent. I can't wait to shove my kids to one of my friends who has talent in music and be like, go be better than me. Oh,
well, I'm surprised that, because you're surrounded by so many talented musicians and artists, that I'm surprised that none of it kind of like shed off onto you.
None of it has rubbed off. I kind of think it's great because I have no ego coming into it. I don't feel like I know a better way to do it. Like, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
But also, all your eggs are in like a different basket, which is you're in this writing bag.
Yeah.
Which a lot of us cannot do. What was the first paper you ever wrote that you were proud of? Do you remember?
I remember this kind of breakout moment in high school. Oh, what time is it, by the way?
Oh, we gotta get you out of here. 12:15.
It's 12:15 right now?
Yeah.
Okay. This is my last thing. Wow, this conversation has been amazing, first of all.
Wow, thank you so much.
I really enjoyed it. It's zoomed
Same
by. Like,
here.
I could sit here for 2 hours and
I
chat.
know. I'm sad that you have to leave.
It's crazy how fast this has gone by. I always didn't feel like I was smart in high school. I was surrounded by a bunch of rich white kids that had genius parents, and they were always way further ahead of me academically a lot of the time. So I was always really quiet and I didn't really share my insides. I also just a bunch of haters. And I remember being in an English class and my professor, my teacher at that time kind of forced me to share, and he was just going crazy and saying how amazing it was and how ecstatic it was and really encouraged me to share more. And so that was kind of one of those moments where I was like, okay, maybe I am decent at this. And then in college, I kind of started becoming more confident. But I can say the first article that I wrote that I really loved, and it's still one of my favorite ones, it was about a baker.
Dude, this is full circle.
Yes. And so that was one of those articles where I look back on. It was during the pandemic, and so I wasn't even able to see their work in person. But I still look back and it's just a really beautiful piece to read. Wow. And it's super descriptive and you just feel like you're in her bakery. And so that was probably something that I look back on and I still really love it.
Wow. See, that's a testament to what you're doing right now. Like, you are doing exactly what you were meant to do, because even at a young age, you're able to create something that you, as like a fully frontal lobed human,
yes,
to look back at and then be like, I fucking love that. I'm proud of that. And we're all proud of you. You're doing dope shit.
Thank you so much. Again, I could chat all day. This was so great.
This was fun. I get along with you so well. Whenever you want to come back, we'll make this happen. This is so much fun. It's fun to interview another interviewer because you get it.
Yes, we get it. I feel like we are working towards the same goal.
Exactly.
So I love that.
So I'm down to collaborate however you want to.
Yes.
And yeah, if you want me to send you a professional email and then I'll just work my way down from there,
please,
I'll go ahead and do that. But yeah, until next time, before we get out of here, look into the barrel of your camera and leave the listeners with the phrase of saying a piece of advice that reminds them that it can't be that bad.
That's beautiful. I love that outro. As long as you're with people who make you feel loved, that you can be yourself with, and you're eating good food, can't be that bad.
Wow. Beautiful. Till next time, because there will be a next time.
Of course.
Baddies, you guys know where to find me. You guys know where to find the podcast because you're already here. Peace, love, and bye.